Welcome to Expand Your Empire, the podcast where women stop deferring wealth and start building financial power. I'm Amanda Taylor, investor, strategist, and disruptor of outdated money rules. It's time to own your worth, grow your assets, and build a legacy that lasts.
$82% of businesses that fail cite cash flow as the reason, not a bad product, not a saturated market, not bad branding or wrong niche or slow season. It is cash flow. So I want you to sit with that number for a second, because if you've been in business for more than a year, you have felt that. You've had the month where the money was there and then it just wasn't. You've refreshed your bank account on a Tuesday morning before your coffee was even ready. You've closed a deal and felt relief instead of celebration, because relief is what happens when you were scared and now you're not for like a minute. And here's the part I need to say out loud, because I don't think anyone is really saying it. If you're anything like me, you've done the work, all of it. And I mean that. I have read the books. I've done the breath work, the tapping. I've cried the ugly cry. I've named the wound. I've done the somatic practices, regulated my nervous system, healed the money story. I know what my relationship with money looked like in my childhood home. I have done more inner work than most people will do in a lifetime. And that is important. And if you have done it too, and then you find yourself still in the feast and famine cycle, I want to ask you something. Not as an attack, but as an opening. What if the healing was real and still wasn't enough? What if you did everything you were supposed to do, and what was missing was never just a mindset shift? What if what was missing was a strategy? This is what I want to talk about today. Welcome to Expand Your Empire. I am Amanda Taylor, and this episode is for every woman who has done the inner work and is still waiting for the outer results. So let me paint a picture, and I want you to tell me if this sounds familiar. You're good at what you do, like genuinely good. Clients get results, you get referrals. When you are in a room, people want to talk to you. Your brand looks great, your content is solid on paper. You are a successful business owner. But the money is unpredictable. Some months are great, some months are terrifying. And the space between a great month and a terrifying month is bigger than it should be for someone at your level. You market hard when you're scared, and you go quiet when you're full. You price your offers based on what you think people will pay, not based on what your business actually needs. Maybe you've taken on clients who you knew were not a great fit because the timing was bad and you just needed the revenue. And then you spend the next 6 months managing the energy drain of that decision. That is reactive cash flow, and it is exhausting. Not because you're not working hard enough, you were probably working too hard, but because reactive cash flow is a leadership problem dressed up as a money problem. And here's the thing about the world we're living in right now. In this era of the regulated nervous system and the healed money story and the somatic everything, I'm not knocking it. I'm in it. I promise you. I have done the work too. But we've built an entire industry around the feeling of being stuck, and almost none around the mechanics of getting unstuck. We have hundreds of coaches who will help you identify why you undercharge. Almost none who will sit down with you and actually change your pricing model. We have retreats that will help you feel safe receiving money. Important. And yet, almost no one teaching you how to architect a business that creates it predictably. The healing and the strategy, they're not the same thing. Both are necessary. And for a long time, our industry has been selling one while quietly skipping the other or just assuming it would magically appear. So that's the trap. We did the healing, we waited for results, and then we're still waiting. And nobody told you that the waiting was the problem, okay? You're not broken, you're not unhealed, you're under-equipped. And that's actually good news because equipment is learnable. So I want to reframe cash flow for you completely. Cash flow is not a finance topic. It is a leadership topic. It's not what your business produces. It is what your decisions produce. And when you start to see it that way, you stop asking what is wrong with your money and you start asking what is wrong with your systems. So you cannot scale what you cannot predict. That is the core of what I want you to take out of this episode. Write it down, screenshot it, tattoo it somewhere convenient. You cannot scale what you cannot predict because scaling requires investment, and investment requires confidence, and confidence requires data, and data requires predictability. It is a chain. And if the first link is broken, nothing that comes after it holds. So where does reactive cash flow actually come from? It is born in 3 places, and I'm going to walk you through all of them. The first one is the pricing. Underpricing is not a generosity issue. I know it feels like one. I know it feels like you are being accessible and inclusive and meeting people where they are, but I want to offer you a different lens. Underpricing is a self-worth issue that survived the healing work. So you've done the inner work on your money story, and then you sat down to set your rates, and your nervous system went right back to 1997 and made that decision for you. Your pricing is a leadership decision. It communicates what you believe your work is worth. It determines what your business can fund, and if it is wrong, no amount of sales volume fixes it because you're just accelerating towards the same wall faster. Now, the second one is sales rhythm. I already mentioned this, but I want to go deeper. Sporadic outreach creates sporadic income, full stop. If you are showing up consistently when you are scared and going quiet when you're comfortable, your revenue will look exactly like your emotional state. Spiky, unpredictable, and exhausting. I know what the somatic coaches will say here. They will say that your nervous system is driving that behavior, and they are right. But the solution is not just more nervous system work. The solution is also structure. A sales calendar, a consistent outreach rhythm, a system that runs even when you are full, even when you are tired, even when you would rather not. Because that system is what creates the predictability that eventually calms the nervous system in the first place. So you regulate the nervous system through safety. You create safety through structure. You create structure through strategy. It is all connected. And then the third one is offer architecture. So one-time transactions will always feel unpredictable, always, because they require you to go out and get new revenue every single time. There's no foundation underneath them. Every month is month 1. Recurring revenue is a strategy. Retainers are a strategy. Payment plans that span multiple months are a strategy. Memberships are a strategy. I'm not saying one model is right for every business. I'm saying that if 100% of your revenue requires 100% new activity every single month, you're working harder than you have to and building less than you could. So the women that I work with who are the most financially stressed are almost never under earning. They are under managing. And nobody told them that was even a category. So pause here and let that land. I want to give you something you can actually use today. Not eventually, today. I call this the cash flow audit, but I want you to think of it differently than the word usually sounds. This isn't a budgeting exercise. It's not a spreadsheet. This is a leadership diagnostic. So you're not auditing your deposits, you're auditing your decisions. And so there are 4 questions. Grab something to write with. If you need to pause this or listen to it and then come back to it, great. Question number 1, where is your income actually coming from? And I mean, list every single revenue stream that produced money for you in the last 90 days. Be honest. Every client, every product, every one-time thing, every retainer, referral fee, all of it. Most people have never actually done this exercise. And what they discover is that their income is coming from 2 or 3 places that they know about, and then a handful of other things they never really counted. So this matters because you cannot optimize what you have not named. Now, question number 2. What percentage of that income is recurring versus one time? Again, that number will tell you more about the health of your business than your revenue total ever could. If you have a $100,000 year and 90% of it came from one-time transactions, you don't have a $100,000 business. You have a business that earned $100,000 once, and you have to go earn it again from scratch every year, every month. If you have a $60,000 year and 40% of it is recurring, you have something to build on. You have a foundation. The number is different. The math is better. So most people who do this exercise are genuinely shocked by how low their recurring percentage is. And if that's you, that's not a failure, it's just information. And information is where strategy starts. All right, we're on to question 3. What is your average close to cash timeline? From the moment you have a first conversation with a potential client to the moment money hits your account, how long does that take? Do you know this number? And I mean actually know it, not guess at it. Most business owners I talk to don't. What that means is that your cash flow is invisible to you. You have no idea what activity today is going to produce income next month versus income in 6 weeks versus 3 months. You are flying blind and wondering why the landing is rough. This number also tells you what your pipeline needs to look like right now in order for you to hit your revenue goal next month. If your close to cash timeline is 30 days and your goal is $10,000 in 30 days, then you need to be in conversations with enough potential clients today to produce that result by then. That is math, not magic. And I know nobody likes math, but I'll do it for you. But question 4, what does your next 90 days look like if nothing new comes in? This is your predictability score. Look at the recurring revenue you have right now, the contracts, the retainers, the ongoing engagements, anything that doesn't require new activity to arrive. Add it up. How far does it take you? 30 days, 60 days, 90? If the answer is 0, that's the most important thing I could possibly tell you today. Not because 0 is shameful, but because 0 means every day you wake up and your business has no guaranteed income. 0 means every month starts from scratch. It means the feast-famine cycle is structurally locked in until something changes. But here's the reframe I want to offer you, specifically for those of you who have been in the nervous system and somatic workspace. This is what regulation actually looks like in your business. You're not just breathing through the anxiety, you are removing the conditions that create it. You want to feel safe in your business? Build a business that is safe. Predictable revenue is nervous system medicine. Structure is not the opposite of flow. Structure is what makes flow sustainable. So your quick win coming out of this episode, take those 4 questions and answer them honestly. And then identify the one thing you could shift in the next 30 days to move your recurring percentage up. One offer restructured to include a retainer option, a client on a 3-month engagement instead of a single session, or a payment plan that extends the relationship instead of closing it. One move, that's it. One strategic decision. Because cash flow is a leadership strategy and leaders make decisions. So where do we go from here? We're talking today about 2 of the 4 layers in the framework that I use with every client, every woman in this community: earn and control. And I want to be clear about what those actually mean, because they sound simple, but they're not always. Earning is table stakes. It's the baseline. If you are listening to this podcast, you are already earning. You already have proof of concept. You already know how to generate revenue, and that is not nothing. That is actually everything, because it means the hardest part. Proving that the thing works, that part is behind you. But earning without control is survival. It is the feast-famine cycle. It is working harder every year to stay in the same place. It is income that requires your constant presence to just exist. Now, control is where wealth begins. Control means you know your numbers before they surprise you. It means your pricing reflects the real value you create and what your business actually needs to grow. It means you have a sales rhythm that doesn't depend on your emotional state on any given Tuesday. It means your offers are structured to create predictability, not just revenue. And here's what I want to say to those in this audience who are also building on the investment side. The real estate, the funds, the assets that are outside of the business. If you are investing from whatever is left over on a good month, you're not building wealth, you're hoping for it. And there is a difference. Intentional wealth building requires a stable foundation to build from. And that foundation is control of your business cash flow. You can have the best investment strategy in the world, but if your base income is reactive and unpredictable, every financial decision you make from that base is going to have fear in it. The inner work and the outer strategy have to move together. That is the thing I want to be saying. You don't get to choose one. You need both. The woman who's healed her relationship with money and built a system to manage it is unstoppable. I've seen it. I have lived it. So I am in no way saying that nervous system work, somatic work, all of this deep work isn't important. I love it. I've done it. I'm doing it every day. And each part of that reveals a new side of me that I didn't know was there and what I can work through. But I am pairing that with action and strategy that moves me to the next level in my business. And I want you to do that too. So next, we're going to talk about the own layer. When you come back next week, we move from earn to control and then to own. That is what happens once you can predict your income, because when you predict it, you can deploy it into assets, into investments, into the kind of wealth that doesn't need you to show up every day to exist. That is where it gets really interesting. All right, so 82%. I started there and I want to end there because I need you to understand something. I do not believe that 82% of business owners failed because they didn't work hard enough. I don't believe they failed because they had the wrong mindset or the wrong niche or the wrong energy. I believe they failed because no one ever handed them the strategy to go with the strength that they already had. You have the strength. You've done the work. You have built something real with your bare hands and your vision and your relentless belief that it is possible. And what I'm here to tell you is that the missing piece is not more healing. It's not a better morning routine. It's not a rebrand. It is a system, a strategy, a decision to lead your business the way you already lead everything else in your life. Cash flow is not what your business produces. It is what your leadership produces, and you were born to lead. If this episode helped for you, share it. Send it to the woman in your life who is brilliant and busy and somehow still broke on paper. She needs this. You know her. She might be you 6 months ago. If you're ready to stop diagnosing and start building, come find me. The link is in the show notes. I would love to sit down with you and actually look at your numbers. Thanks for joining us today. Now go keep building.
If this lit something up, share it, review it, and get in the room. Join the Expand Your Empire community and start turning wisdom into wealth. You're not too late, and you're not doing this alone.